Hello aspirants, welcome to EduRev. I am Gogula Rajashekar and I will be teaching your modern Indian history. I have given 2 IAS interviews, 4 mains, and I am an engineer from IIT Bhubaneswar and patent holder in artificial intelligence. This is our first chapter, and in this video we are going to learn about advent of Europeans into India. Before this, what we learned is we have looked at the relevance of history for UPSC aspirants, and we also looked at strategy and the broad contents of history. So these things you can find it in the first video and second video, and from this video onwards our actual course starts. Alright, so let us begin. See, the advent of Europeans is the background work that we need in order to understand the history. So here our strategy that we have discussed about, we are going to divide and learn. So we are going to implement that strategy here, and this chapter I am going to divide into 3 sections. The first section includes the factors responsible for the advent of Europeans, and in the second section we are going to discuss the manner of their advent, that is the order in which they entered into Indian subcontinent and their settlements in India. In the third section, we are going to look at what are the internal fights or conflicts among them and how East India Company of British has emerged as supreme power among all the Europeans. So in these sections, we are going to learn this chapter. Alright, so in this video, let us focus on this first section, which is factors responsible for the advent of Europeans. Alright. See, here also I am going to divide them into 2 sections, one as pull factors and another one as push factors. See, push factors means, see, from the source to the destination. Here source is European countries, destination is Indian subcontinent. So what are the factors that have pushed the Europeans towards India? And in the second section we will be looking at what are the pull factors. So how India become attractive for the Europeans. So those pull factors we are going to look at it. So let us begin with our push factors. So what are the push elements that have risen in order to know attraction of Europeans towards India? The first and foremost is Renaissance and technological innovations during the 15th and 16th century. So it started from middle of 15th century, 14th, 15th, 16th century. During this time, this Renaissance is a period which transitions towards modernity. That is, they are moving from the age-old customs towards the modernity. So because of this, there is no high demand for inquiry, particularly in the field of science. So scientific inquiry has increased. So because of that, many innovations such as steam engine or telephone or telegraph or printing press, etc. got invented. Once these inventions have started, that have led to other inventions of machines along with some discoveries of geographical locations. So this has increased the transportation and communication enormously during those periods. Now, before that, the locations which are inaccessible, the locations which are not known to them, they are now possible to access because of this increased transportation and communication. So this is the first push factor which has influenced their advent towards the India. In the second push factor, this is industrial revolution. See, revolution is something which is rapid growth. Please remember this. If something rapid happening, then we call it as a revolution. So in the industry, there is a growth, rapid growth because of those mechanizations, right? Because the invention of machines, right? It has led to the growth in the industry, and as a result of this industrial development, there is high urbanization. So as a result, there is population growth, huge population growth, and because of this increasing population, what happened? The demand has increased. So demand for goods have increased, and now the people have the means of production, that is, they have the machines. See, earlier through traditional means they were producing, now they have the means, of machines which can produce at a higher rate, right? But the problem is they do not have the supply of raw goods. Kyunki in order to feed these machines, you need raw materials, right? Raw materials. Let me write it here. Raw materials. So raw materials are not there in Europe, and Europe is a very small continent compared to Indian subcontinent and other locations. Now they need raw materials and they are looking for different other colonies from the all over the world. So that is the second thing, right? Need for raw materials because of these two factors. Then third push factor is imperialism. See, imperialism is simply working for the glory of mother nation. If you are a Portuguese person, you work for the glory of Portuguese or Britain or Netherlands, etc. So here the main thing is for upholding the national what you can say superiority among other Europeans. So because of this also they wanted to colonize other locations of the world. Along with that, they wanted to establish a trade monopoly in those locations. So this is the third push factor, monopoly, right? Third push factor. Now let us see how India has become very attractive for them. What is the reasons? See, by then India has been known to its immense wealth, because you might have heard about this Silk Road karke. Silk Road, right? This is a road, traditional road used by the Chinese travelers in order to sell their silk, which is in high demand in European and Central Asian nations and West Asia. So as a result, these guys are taking this silk from China towards these Western nations via India. See, all of these roads, they are passing through Indian subcontinent. So India is at the heart of this road, and it is amassing huge amounts of wealth because of the taxes and tolls that have been collected due to this trade. Apart from that, Indian goods such as spices, Indian color, which is indigo, which is highly in demand in the royal families of Europe because it is a royal color. And along with that, Indian textiles such as the muslin of Dhaka or other silks of India, they are already in high demand. So all these goods, they are giving a very lucrative trade. So they are very prosperous in terms of trade. So that's why the traders are attracted towards India. So this is second pull factor. First factor is India is highly wealth. Then third thing is, see, once the production started because of the machines, so now whatever may be the population of the Europe, the production done by these machines is very, very huge. So whatever may be the demand, still there is a surplus of goods, finished goods in Europe. Now these finished goods, they are having a huge amount of finished goods, and they are now looking for selling these finished goods in a market, right? Because domestic demand jo hai, that has been satisfied by this production. Now there is overproduction, and this overproduction must be sold in a market, and India has become a suitable market for them. So two things you have to remember with respect to India. So for one thing, it has become source of raw materials. So yahan se they are taking the raw materials like spices, indigo, textiles, other cotton, sugar, tea, etc. And at the same time, after finishing of those, matlab value enhance karne ke baad, they are bringing that finished goods and they are dumping into Indian market. So it has a huge impact on Indian traditional art as well. Alright? So these are the pull factors. Now I have a question for you. See, this is analyze the factors responsible for the advent of Europeans into Indian subcontinent. So I'm going to give you the guidelines. In the introduction, give a brief note on Europeans and why they wanted to look for towards India. And in the body, you write about the factors. So in these factors, you divide it into pull factors and push factors like we have discussed. And in the conclusion, you make a conclusion that because of these factors, Europeans have funneled into India, Europeans, and among them there are internal conflicts, and later they made India their homeland. for administration and for trade, and at the same time they have taken raw materials from here and they were dumping the finished goods into India, which have destroyed the Indian traditional crafts. Clear? So ऐसे करके you conclude it. So this is about entire lesson. So I hope this is clear. If you have any doubts, do comment. We will get back to you. Thank you very much for listening. See you in the next video.